Good morning, friends. Lest you think I'm being complicit in going against Toastmaster rules in talking about a religious subject, I just have to say that all art before like 1500 was religious. So it was just, you had to go with that. Today I'm talking about a period of art that I would say most of you are not familiar with, but which is maybe my favorite period of art. And let me show you, the last speech I did was on medieval illuminated manuscripts. And I closed it out talking about the three teenage Limburg brothers who went to work for the brother of the King of France and revolutionized illustrations by bringing in three-dimensional backgrounds. Well, I'll refresh your memories by showing them. And they were just before the start of the 1400s. You can see how there's all of this real landscapey feel to it. You wouldn't find that in any artwork before that. And the same thing with this. See how there's that sense of depth in that foreground and a realism to it. You would not have found that. Well, this is called Netherlandish painting. But you might be thinking that I'm talking about Dutch painting. And that is not the case. Netherlandish is the old word for the Low Countries. And most of this art was coming from the Flemish part of Belgium, which is the Dutch-speaking part. And that was the wealthiest part of the world at the time. And part of the reason for it was there was no war there. So they could spend all their money frivolously on art. And it was a very beautiful culture, incredible architecture, and they still have some of these cities there that are completely intact like this. And this is what art prior to 1400 looked like. Now, if you notice in the background, that gold background, well, essentially what that is there's no landscape back there. And if you notice how the face of the people, they're all kind of flat. It's not really, they don't have that illusion of being three-dimensional. Well, this all changed when the Limburg brothers came along and they started influencing the Netherlandish painters. Now, this is one of my favorite of the artists, and this is Hans Memling. Do you notice how completely different this painting is than the last image that had like no background? This is a real, it looks like you're looking into the distance. Mm-hmm. Look at this knight's armor, how three-dimensional it is. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's almost photograph looking. Yeah. And one of the hallmarks of this period, they have very, you hardly ever see anybody smile, but you'll see a very quiescent, peaceful looks on the faces of these people. Now I'll show you a couple more about Memling, who I really like him a lot. This is one of his more famous. These were situated at the front of the church. This, which I'll be showing a close-up of, is the vision of St. John the Divine of Revelation. And it's almost surrealistic. And I'll be showing you some more close-ups. Triptychs were very common because they would close the two sides and keep it closed for most of the year and open this up for holy days. This is a close-up of the vision of St. John the Divine. And look at this. Now, this is not what we see in the nativity scenes. If you have a nativity scene at home, it would be like in a manger, right? You know, a manger with the cows and all that sort of stuff.
It would.
Well, for them, you know, they pictured the Holy Family being like the kings, you know, so they have the best tapestries and everything. So it's very pretty. Life should always be pretty. Right. I have to point it at that, not this. I have to use my pointer a lot. This is a scene from the Last Judgment lots of naked people. But it's very fanciful. Now this is a really special picture. Roger van der Weyden, I don't know why the R was left off. It's painted for the people that did this, longbowmen. And so Christ was actually in the image of a longbowman, being held as a longbow in that image. And it was considered one of the greatest paintings of all time. And I'm sorry I can't show it to you more, but it's being contrary. It's being complicit in upsetting me. But Roger van der Weyden was known as the master of the tears. Now I want y'all to look. You can come up closer if you want to, but can you see her tears?
Yeah.
They just look like they look like they're right there on that screen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the thing that was so shocking is art before this period was never emotional. It was very sort of removed, you know. But this was like, that's really there. Now let me show you the next one that's maybe even more so. Thank y'all for being patient with me. Well, now it doesn't want to change. There we go. There you can really see the tears. Look at those things. I mean, how did they do it? Well, now I'm going to show you somebody else. This is another van der Weyden. I think this is an extremely powerful picture because, I mean, have you ever seen Blue Angel? Well, ha. Ha ha. Where's the other? But, you know, in general, no. In general, no. But don't they add sort of like this sense of foreboding and sadness in that color around the crucifix? I mean, the angels really sort of set this image apart.
I see them flying over 520.
And and I didn't have a close-up of the face, but the face also has those tears on it. It's a very powerful, powerful painting. I mean, this is just leaps and bounds more dramatic than the painting 50 to 100 years before. Oh, this is really special. This is Gerard David. He's a French artist, but he painted in this era. This is like looking at a photograph. Mm-hmm. It's like looking almost through a window into a medieval world. This is Mary on the flight to Egypt. Look at this landscape. Look at her. I mean, she almost looks real. And the thing to keep in mind is that this type of realism did not exist in painting even 10, 20, 30 years before. It's all come about, and it'll be because of the next artist that I'll be talking about. Jan van Eyck. How many of you have heard of Jan van Eyck? Well, that's more than most. You may not know all of his importance, though. Jan van Eyck is considered by many art critics as the greatest painter of all time. And a lot of people don't know that. And he's one of the few artists from this period that we really know anything about. And the thing that is so revolutionary about him was, there had been people working in oils before, but nobody had really done anything with it. He was a true innovator with oils, and he invented glazes and all these techniques, and all the techniques that of all the oil painters in the world after that, they all got it from Jan van Eyck. And he just didn't start out as a little dilettante. He started out, yes?
Is that a self-portrait?
Yeah, this is a self-portrait.
Wow.
He started out as, the brain is just flying away from me. I'm going to go on to the next thought. He started out as a medieval illustrator. And he is other than the Limburg brothers, he is considered, I forget the name of it, but there's somebody who's known by a code name who painted the Hours of the Medici, which is the other great illustrator of the illustrated manuscripts. And it is reputed to be Jan van Eyck. There are only 25 Van Eycks in existence, and that's because, you know, the medieval manuscripts, nobody stole them. They were sort of like hidden up in the libraries. But these paintings, people just went in and carted them off, especially the iconoclasts, who were the Protestants who didn't believe in the Catholic imagery. And so they stole a lot of this stuff. And, oh, I've really gone over my time. I'm just going to go. We're just going to go today.
We have the time, Scott.
I have the time. So this painting is considered by many to be one of the great portraits of the world. And it's like looking at a photograph. The detail that is in this picture, the perspective in this picture is all new, and they're wearing their finest, and if you can get up real close, you can see all the hairs on his fur. Part of the reason I'm having trouble is I normally just let the stuff go in the background. And look at the hair on the doggy. And then this is really astonishing. This is a curved mirror. And he has a curved image, and you can see the whole room. And each one of these little things has a scene painted in it.
Wow.
And then these are all the things of the zodiac, and the details. And look at this, look at this, look at this, look at all the detail on all of those the rosary beads. It's just it's astonishing. You just don't see art like this anymore. Come on. There we go. Now, the next painting I'm going to be talking about is the big deal. The Ghent masterpiece. How many of you know about that? A few of you. I think this is really kind of fun. This is what it looks like most of the year. It's closed, but then they open it up. It's the size of a barn door. It's about 12 to 15 feet in size. The colors are a little intense on this TV, but we'll go with that. It is considered by many art critics to be not only the greatest painting in the world, but the most influential painting in the world. And each one of these images on here, they exist as a separate thing, but they all work together. There's a lot of symbology going on in it. The real name of it is the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb, which I'll show you a close-up of down here. Now, one thing I'll do, I forgot to put an image of Adam, but you can sort of see in here, Adam, if it was the Italians painting him, he would have the body beautiful. This is like a real man. And you can hardly see it down here, but his toes are like up like this, getting ready to step out of the painting. It's just the realism in this has just never been seen in a painting before. The painting was stolen 7 times and was kept in a salt mine by the Nazis, which nearly ruined it. This is a close-up of the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. And all these different groups. The colors are really too intense on this camera. But look at this, look at this, look at this. The jewels. Look at how they look like photographs. The color's a little bit off of this. But these jewels look as if they're photographs. And he invented a technique of painting 21 glazes on these jewels. And he had tons of jewels in this image. And they all just look like the inside of a jewel catalog. This is the crown of God. And you can even see the reverse back here on the back, the reverse molding on the other side of the thing, the detail that went into all of this stuff. All of these jewels, they're all, the crowns on all the popes. They were like 20 popes worshiping the Lamb, and they had more jewels than Elizabeth Taylor. And I will close by talking a couple of things about this. Of course the jewels are amazing. But this picture of God the Father is very revolutionary, because before it had always been this stern, non-loving, judgmental Father. Well, you don't get that here. You get more of a modern image of Christ. I appreciate y'all putting up with my technological glitches and my going over time, but I hope you've been at least educated in a really beautiful period of art.
Wow.
Thank you very much.